Hello and welcome back. So in the previous video we left off where we created the Windows form and it currently does nothing. It only shows us the string value that is stored in the project parameter. So we go to project information. This is VA string hello. So this is the string value that is stored. Moving on, today we will be finishing up with this text node command and we will be creating all of the other necessary elements in the code. So without further ado, let's get it going. Okay, now we're back at Visual Studio, so we want to jump into Windows form, so I'll just click on placing text and hit F7. Okay, so we have taken a look on how to take the project info parameter, this parameter right here, and load it into the Windows form. Now we're gonna find a way where the user actually changes something or leaves it as this string value and pass it down to Revit and to the command itself so we can place it as a text in our project. Well, we can use the same method we use with the global variables, but I'd like you to learn another method. So first thing, we're going to be creating a method. We're going to name it text info, so it's a public class. So first we're going to be creating a class. So first we need to type in public class text info, public string ti text, just an empty string, and public text info quotes, and we then go up where we have the OK button. We have created a public string and we set it to nothing, so it's an empty string, and then we gave it the values that the user has typed into the box that in the Windows form, or the value that is already stored, and we need to pass this information again to the text info that we have created, so we can use text info to actually place a command in Revit. So to do that, we create a public text info. So to do that, we create a public text info and name it get info. We add a variable called, let's call it info, var info equals new text info, and in the curly brackets our ti text equals the text, and then return info, then close. And now for the combo box that we want to populate with all of the font types that we have loaded in Revit. So to do that, it's going to be a bit tricky. So just copy what I have copied on my screen, and it will do the trick just fine. So go down, we're right here, just copy this. Okay, so not combo box 2. Okay, so I have it combo box 1. I'll just take this and change. Okay, so what this does is actually collect all of the text types in Revit that are loaded and load them in the combo box that we have created. And we go to the private void combo box, select index change and type in. We type in text type ID, key value pair, string and element ID, combo box 1, selected item, value. Okay, so now we just gonna create another one of get info to get the element ID of the text type, so we can pass it into Revit as well. So to do that, we're just gonna be creating another text info. Let's call it get info 2. So public Okay, so to pass this into Revit, we're going to be jumping back to our form box data, the class that we have created. And right here, we're just going to be typing public. We need to add Autodesk Revit API. Okay, go back. Public element ID text and create a constructor. So public form box data curly brackets. Jump back to placing text and create public form box data. Let's name it get info 2. Not a very original name, but it will do the trick. var info2 equals new form box data text type ID equals text type ID. Then return info2. Okay, awesome. Now we can jump into our command. Let's go right here. So now we're going to be creating two variables to collect the text info and the form box data. So what we need to capture, let's say, from the placing text is the element ID of the text type and the text itself. So we're in the command, so I'm going to be creating okay, so I've created var user info equals new placing text dot text info, placing text, which is the one we created right here, and user info 2, which is form box data. Okay, now in the using window, we're going to be collecting user info window get info 2. So, now we can go to the using transaction. I'll just delete this so we can actually start typing. So the transaction is create a text with a leader. So first we're going to be creating a sketch plane. Sketch plane is called SP equals so we've typed in sketch plane SP, we've called it sketch plane create doc plane dot create by normal and origin, and we just specify the normal as the view direction and the origin as the active view origin. So doc dot active view dot sketch plane equals SP. Okay, now we just need 3 points for the user to click on to create the text node with the leader. So we're asking the user to select 3 points. So XYZ PTTX origin equals UI doc selection pick point. Oops, it's supposed to be pick the text origin. Okay, I'm just going to be copying this a couple of times. So elbow origin pick the second point. Let's create a variable to store the strings that we have imported from the form box that we have created, the placing text. So string str text user info.ti text. And now for the text node options. We've created a variable called the text node options equals new text node options. So horizontal alignment, horizontal text alignment left. Now just place not a semicolon, but a colon and hit enter. Vertical alignment in the middle and the type ID of the text node, which is the user info2.text type ID, which is the ID of the text type that we have selected in the form box. So in here in the combo box. Okay, back to command. Now let's create the text node itself. So var text node equals capital text node not create. So to see how you can create it, you just click here and see. So as you can see, it requires the document and the element ID of the view and the XYZ position and the string itself and the text node options. We have 3 overloads that you can check them, but we've selected this method. So this is in the future, if you want to create your own stuff, you can see that actually, because we've loaded the Revit UI and the Revit API UI, we get a lot of helpful comments. This is why I like to actually code in Visual Studio and not using Python and Dynamo, because here you can get a lot of helpful tricks and tips that will make the learning process a lot easier. Now we have created the text node. Let's add the leader. So I've called my leader node leader text node. This text node right here, add leader, text node leader type. I've just selected this one, which works just fine. Now let's set the elbow and the leader. Now I have created the elbow and the leader. Now one thing I wanted to take notice of, if I launch my command, as you can see here, I have all the types of the fonts that I want. So if I chosen 5 millimeters and placed the text node like this, okay, it's really big. So if I place the text node like this and relaunch the command, it remembers that in the previous time I've selected the GKS 5 millimeters. Now if I change it to GKS 2.5, say like this, okay, as you can see, and relaunch the command, as you can see, it remembers that the GKS 2.5 millimeters. And to do that, we have to actually program that. We want to set the default element type ID of the text node. So to do that, we're just gonna be typing right here. So doc set default element type ID, element type group, the text node type, the user info.text type ID. So this way we actually set the default. Now in the end, we just have tx.commit. I'll just delete all of this. Okay, we have launched Revit. Now let's see what we have right here, what we have created. So external tools, VA tutorial. Okay, now I have this loaded, but for some weird reason, I don't have the text node, the text type. Okay, let's see if we can create something. Okay, now let's see what error we have. Okay, unexpected the import type ID function. Okay, now I think it has something to do with the fact that we don't have the text node type or the text types loaded correctly in the form bar. So first here we're gonna have to create the populate text node type list, and so I guess this is my mistake. So this is the form load. So this is everything that is loaded in the forms that we have created, the Windows forms that we have created, and we need to actually write in populate text node type list. Let's relaunch it and see if this fixed the problem. Okay, let's see if we have fixed the problem. So I'll go into my add-ins. Okay, now we have it all loaded up. Okay, VA tutorial, let's see. Okay, looks like the view ID does not represent a valid view. Okay, so we're gonna be changing this. I was thinking this is gonna be a problem. I was trying to create something new. So I'll just remove this and type in something different. Okay, let's see if this works. So here I'm gonna be typing UI doc dot active graph view dot IT. Let's see if this fixes the problem. Now let's see if we have actually fixed the problem. So go to add-ins, external tool, VA tutorial text node. So VA tutorial, let's see, something like this. Oh, I'm sorry, I had the annotation crop selected, so we're just gonna be deleting everything right here. Okay, now we're gonna be relaunching the command to check it. Okay, now let's see. Okay, we have successfully wrote a Windows form in Visual Studio and actually applied it in Revit. So sometimes when you launch your add-in, let's say, this for some weird reasons this blacks out or grays out. So I just like to use the enter for relaunching the previous command. So I'll just type in enter. Okay, now let's change it to something like hello world and hello world. Okay, let's see if it remembers. No, it doesn't remember. So we need to actually change something, but let's see if it remembers the previous. Let's see if the default text type ID works. So I'll just choose GKS 3 millimeters. Okay, now let's relaunch it. Okay, it remembers the text type ID, so the set default method worked, but for actually saving the text that we have created right here, so the user doesn't have to re-enter it every time. Let's see what we can do about this. So here we're just gonna be typing done. I've just typed in va string value dot set str text. Okay, now we can retype try and catch method, try. Okay, but please do not forget that we have the string value, which is a lookup parameter VA string 1. So in your Revit project info, if you don't have VA string value created, it will not launch the command. It will just shut down, because we need this value right here. We need this parameter right here so we can store the actual text that we have created. I hope you enjoyed. If you like this video, you can hit that like button and subscribe to this channel. Have a good one and see you in the next video.